Hey guys, it's Anne here, and this video is going to be my sort of daily makeup routine. Now, I don't do every single one of these steps every morning, but this is the basic routine that I do in the morning before I go to work. I also have new lighting, so I have a ring light now, so hopefully the quality of my videos will be a little bit better. I'm still working on setup. I currently film with an iPhone, so I can't actually see myself. A lot of people have like a camera with a viewfinder so that they can see if they're in frame or not. So I have a fresh face except eyebrows. I have a little bit of eyebrow product on, a little bit of the Anastasia eyebrow pencil in, I think it's medium brown. You see how wonky my eyebrows are, and you can see the remnants of my microblading on this eyebrow, which part of my routine is to try and cover up and fix a little bit. I'll do another video on eyebrows later on. So let's get started. So what I'm going to start off with first is the Fab Coconut Skin Smoothing Priming Moisturizer. Just put that all over. My skin is so dry in the winter. I don't know about you guys, but I've had a cold basically from beginning of January, and now it's second week of February, and it just transitions, moves around. I'm starting to finally feel better though now, which is good. So now I'm just using a little bit of the Smashbox Photo Finish Primer. I've talked about this in the past. I don't really like it, but I'm just trying to use it up. So this is actually my second time filming this video. I filmed it once before using all of my Project Pan products, and what I found out after watching the footage was my foundation and concealer looked terrible together, and I've been wearing that for a couple of weeks now and nobody's been telling me. So what I'm doing right now is I've actually been mixing some of my foundation. So I'm mixing the Garnier BB cream plus blur. This is a little bit pink on me. I've been mixing this with the Dr. Jart BB cream because the Dr. Jart is so gray, and also mixing it, if I'm not using Dr. Jart, I'm using the Lasting Finish 24-hour, and this is in 103 True Ivory. The reason why I mix it with this is because this is a tad too light for me. So anyway, I'll just go in with this. So pretty light with the concealer, or with the foundation, and I'm going to go in with the Age Rewind Dark Circles Concealer in Light. This stuff is amazing. Oh, you know what, actually, before I do that, oops. So I don't always do this, but sometimes I use the NYX Dark Circle Concealer. As you can see, I have very, very, very dark circles under my eyes. And it's not the dark circles, like I know there's Coffee Break with Danny, and she talks about panda eyes, so she has it's a different color, it's a different issue. It's dark circles, but it's a different color of dark circles. Mine are like I look bruised, it's like blue and purpley. So there's that. This is okay. It seems a little thin. I still want to try the erase paste that Emily Noel talks about. I think it's called the Brightening Concealer now from Benefit. That's on my list of things that I really want to buy, but because I'm on a no-buy, I don't know. Might be an exception. because I just really want to test it out. So you see, I work that way up into, I have such deep set eyes that it's really dark even right up in here. So I try and work that up into there. And then a few breakouts. Always the fun of getting older, breakouts and wrinkles. No one told me that was what was going to happen. So I'm just going to get a small angled brush here and sort of tap it on the top of this. There's still a lot of product on there. Just use that to slowly conceal. I mean, it sucks that I have to cover this because it was balancing out the height of my eyebrows, but anyway, I'll go into a different video about all the eyebrow goodness. Okay, so now on to eyes. So I always use primer. I've started using the Too Faced Shadow Insurance primer. It's a little different from, I almost always use the Urban Decay Primer Potion, which I really, really like. It was the first primer I used, and I had really oily eyelids, and I found that primer was the best. It's a little bit drier. This is a little more wet, so I feel like I have to give it a minute to dry before I put my eyeshadow on. So this is the Urban Decay Basics eyeshadow palette. So it's in my project pan. So I just go in with a flat brush in WOS. Put that all over. Now most days I do different eyeshadow looks, particularly because I'm trying to just trying to use. I don't think I'll ever use up an eyeshadow palette entirely, but I'm trying to use all the palettes that I have, and I typically use this palette, and I have two Too Faced palettes, and I don't really use the other ones enough, so I'm trying to mix it up. So every day I'm using a different eyeshadow palette essentially. And I go in with sort of like an angled fluffy brush under Naked 2 as a transition shade. Now, transition shades is something that I've been using for a long time, but I didn't call them that. It was just sort of the 2 eyeshadow look or 3 eyeshadow look, and if I used a transition shade, that was the 3 eyeshadow look. I mean, this is the era of the late 30s person. Not really growing up with internet, but not growing up with internet. It's very strange. I'm planning on potentially doing a future video on the Kevin Aquan books. They were one of the first books, other than magazines. I mean, we all read the magazines. Other than magazines, the Kevin Aquan books were really where I learned a lot of tips and techniques. So now I'm just going in with a very small brush and faint, it's a little bit of a deeper brown. I pretty much exclusively only use these 3 shades in this palette. I mean, I could use the other ones. I just, in the morning, sometimes I don't want to think too hard, and this is sort of a default. Alright, good enough. So eyeliner, so I'm still working on this little itty bitty Urban Decay 24/7 eye pencil in 0. So I do have one that's a full size as well. Well, it's about 3/4 now, because for some reason I stopped using the little guy. I think one of the reasons why, sorry, try not to pull too hard. It's a bad technique habit. One of the reasons why I was not using the little ones is because I do kind of save the little guys for travel. I don't know if anybody else does that, but when I have some smaller, like the sample products, I wasn't using them regularly because I was using them when I traveled. But I haven't traveled very much recently, though I'd like to go somewhere this year. See if that happens or not. So yeah, so those products I just wasn't using. So that's why a lot of my Project Pan products were sort of like sample or deluxe sample sizes. Okay, so sometimes I do put the eyeliner along the edge on the bottom and sometimes I don't. Here and there. This is the NYX High Definition Liquid Eyeliner. Now this product is sneaky. When I bought it because it was like $4, and when I first bought it and I tested it, it was like gray. Like there was no product at all. And I was so heartbroken. So instead of throwing it out right away, I hung on to it and I set it in my makeup thing upside down. And I actually went out and bought an e.l.f. Eyeliner instead. And the e.l.f. one's really good. It's a little bit of a thicker pen tip, which I don't really love. But anyway, I let this sit for like 2 weeks. Because I tried it again after a week and it was still really great. I was like, oh, do I throw it out? Do I not throw it out? Then I left it. And then I went back to it again. And it actually, like you can see, it's actually black now. It's actually working. So if you do buy this and it's gray, stick it in like a makeup holder or somewhere upside down and let it sit for 2 weeks. Literally 2 weeks. So this is a step that I skip often. I don't always do black eyeliner, liquid eyeliner, and I rarely ever do a wing because my eyes are so round. It's difficult to do a wing. I learned that following tutorials and couldn't figure out why my wing was looking not the same. Like if you look at somebody like Nikki Tutorials or Crispy, they have a very elongated, like almond eye shape. So when they do a liquid eyeliner, it's gonna look totally different. They use a different shape than I could ever use on my eyes. So just a word of caution if you're trying to copy other people and it's not working. You know, take a look. What is their eye shape like? What is your eye shape like? If I do a liquid liner, I do it pretty small and I really angle it up the way. Maybe I'll do a future video on that. I don't know. Alright. Curling my eyelashes. Which is something I don't really like to do, but it does make a difference. Now I don't have super straight eyelashes, but I do find that this does just open up the eyelashes a little bit. If I'm in a real rush, I do skip this. Like on weekends, I usually don't do that. So this is the Rimmel Volume Colorist Mascara. This is on its last legs. As you can see, I really have to work it. And because it's wintertime here, and it's snowy, and my eyes water. Like the other day I was walking and the snow was like literally like, you know, walk with my eyes closed because it was in my face. I use a bit of waterproof mascara, just a tiny bit, a quick coat over top whatever other mascara I put on. So now I don't always use this powder, but I do try and use some sort of powder. And again, this may be reminiscent of my oily skin days. I don't want my foundation to move all over the place. So I'm just using the Almost Powder makeup from Clinique. Again, this was in my project pan with a flat brush, just sort of dusting this over. Don't really love the tone of this all that much, but it is what it is. I'm not gonna cover that. So brushed away some of this concealer. Just tap in the concealer and then just tap in some powder on top. Voila! It's gone. I don't do any baking or anything because, as you can see, I'm old. I have a lot of wrinkles under my eyes, and it makes it look way too cakey if I do that. So I am using my Laguna bronzer, but I kind of mentioned this in another video that I feel like I've been using this every day, and the pan has barely changed, and I feel like when I touch it, the product is so dry, like I'm not getting anything out of the product. So I'm still working with it. I'm also mixing it a little bit with my butter bronzer, and I just have this in the bronzer shade. I think there is more than one shade now. I think there's like a light, I'm not sure. I know there's a few more shades. This bronzer is every bit as awesome as other people say it is. So if you're looking for a bronzer, get this. If you're fair skinned and you're a bit nervous about bronzer, get the light bronzer shade, but I mean, I'm pretty fair and I'm using the bronzer shade. And because I have no neck anymore, because I'm getting old. Not that I had much of a neck before. Add a bit of bronzer down there. Continuing with trying to use some of my Project Pan products. I'm using the Tarte blush in Party. Because I have a lot of pink and redness in my skin, I don't like putting a whole lot of blush on because it's like I just covered up all the redness and pink. Why am I putting more back on? But I noticed that if I don't put anything on, that I can look pretty washed out. Or as my mother would say, you're looking pretty peaked. Whatever that meant. Peaked. You're a wee peaked. And for highlighter, now I'm using the Becca, Moonstone highlighter, which I'll be honest is too intense for me for day to day. But I am trying to use it up, so I'm using it day to day, and I'm just blinging all through January and February. It's cold and crappy out. It's snowing right now, and it looks beautiful, but I'm glad I'm inside. Now, one thing I don't really do is contour, and I don't put the highlighter here. The reason why I don't put a highlighter here, I'm going to say this now, and I hopefully will never mention it again, is as somebody who gets a runny nose when I have a cold or when it's cold outside and I get a runny nose, sometimes I think it looks like people have a runny nose when they have highlighter here. Is it just me that thinks that? I don't know. Anyway, that's what I think. I mean, I have done it, but when people are like, go overboard there, it's like, dude, do you need a Kleenex? You got a little bit of a runny nose. So lastly, I'll go in with lips. And I don't have a standard lip that I use day to day right now because I have that lip products video that I talk about. I'm trying to use all my different lip products and find which ones I like and which ones I don't like to try and reduce my stash a little bit. But this is kind of a go-to, I guess. This is the Annabelle Spice lip liner, and then this is just a Pixie lip gloss. So I'm just gonna go, because I don't have it here, go put some finishing spray on. Right now I'm using the NYX matte setting spray. It's okay, I like it, but because my skin's been so dry lately, I feel like I shouldn't have bought the matte. I should have bought the dewy one, but whatever. It definitely works though, and I do think it's comparable to the Urban Decay all-nighter one. And then I'll do a light dusting of the Hourglass powder, and then I'll be right back to close out this video. Alright guys, so this is the finished look. As I said at the beginning of the video, I don't do every single one of those steps in the morning before I go to work. I do skip a lot of things here and there. It usually takes me about anywhere between 10 and 20 minutes to get ready. Again, depending on how much time I have, depending on what I feel like doing. So I hope you like this video. Maybe I'll do some different tutorials in the future on sort of everyday makeup, maybe a no makeup makeup, or a 5-10 minute makeup. We'll see. If you like this video, give it a little thumbs up, and if you want to see more videos from me in the future, just please subscribe below. Thanks, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye.